That's where I'm from. So I always play this song. There you go. Can anybody say Kathmandu? Yeah. That's where I'm from. So anyway, I think we can. But anyway, my name is Shailesh. I think a lot of you guys know my name. I've had some. It's a very different name around here, right? Would you say it's a different name? Has anybody heard that name before they met me? Am I the only Shailesh you know? Yeah. Okay, that's kind of shows you haven't traveled, because there's like 320 million Shaileshes in the Indian subcontinent. So, but my name gets mispronounced a lot. You know, like people will say Shailesh. That's one I hear a lot. Shailesh is one that I hear a lot. Silage is one that somebody used once, and I had to look it up. It's like, any farmers, you know what that is, right? You feed animals. That's one of my favorite ones, though, is eyelashes. Eyelashes, believe it or not. There was a friend of mine had a 4-year-old daughter, and she couldn't say my name. I said, my name is Shailesh, and she just looked at me and said, Mr. Eyelashes? So she was just calling me Mr. Eyelashes for a long time. It was really cute. But when I first got married, obviously you know my wife. She's not from my part of the world. So I got married into her family. And when I got married into her family, her 85 or 86-year-old grandmother at the time had a boyfriend. And the boyfriend, similar age, it kind of sounds weird, but similar age, there was a Mexican-American gentleman named Carlos. Okay? And so for the first 6 or 7 years of my married life, my mother-in-law called me Carlos. So I also respond to Carlos. So how you confuse a 32-year-old handsome young man to a 91-year-old Mexican-American judge, I don't know, right? But that happened. So I respond to Carlos as well. So if you introduce me, if you tell me your name and your name is Kate, and I call you Grace for 3 months, I have Grace. Because of my name, right? So, but obviously, you know, I'm married. I have 4 children. I have 4 daughters. And what I've learned is when you have 4 daughters, what you're really doing is you're running a laundromat. Right? You're running a laundromat. I hear some people laughing. You're running a laundromat. I mean, our laundry machine has been running since, I think, 2006. And it just runs. It's like every you know, you smell, goes in the laundry. Yeah. You know, they come home, it's like, oh, that's dirty. It's like, I wear the same shirt for 4 days. Right, guys? I wear the same shirt for 5 or 6 days. I told them, you don't have to wash everything every day. They're like, they think I'm disgusting. But we have hours for our laundry machines. It goes from 7 in the morning till about 11 at night. And I have teenagers, and so now it runs at 3 in the morning sometimes, and it literally wakes me up. So it's not fun. But one thing about having teenagers is I've told you that I'm very smart, right? But apparently I'm an idiot, right? Because my teenagers, they know everything. Yeah. They literally know everything. This is how much they know things, right? Yeah. They will try to tell me how to do things on the iPhone. Me, Mr. Technical Support himself, right? They are telling me how to use the iPhone, right? And then the other thing is driving. 2 of them have, well, one has a license, the other one has a permit, and now I'm the world's worst driver. Right? I'll be taking them to school, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't go fast enough there, Dad. You made that person wait. You didn't use your blinkers." Right? I mean, I've been driving for 30 years. I don't use blinkers. I just go right in. You know what I mean? There's no reason to do that. For being as smart as they are, they're pretty dumb. They don't know how to start a dishwasher. You know? Very simple things. They don't know how to put things away after they finish eating. You know what I mean? They don't know how to fold their laundry and put it away. So if you're watching, I'm keeping an eye on you guys there. So, but But the other thing is, as a dad, I've learned that, as parents actually, we have superpowers. You guys know you have superpowers when you're teenagers? We have superpowers. We have some amazing superpowers, and by the end of this routine, you'll know you have some really good superpowers. One of the superpowers I have is I can annoy my teenager by just looking at them at a certain angle. If I just look at them a little bit like that, they're like, ah! They just get annoyed. Or if I chew in front of them. If I just chew my sandwich at the kitchen table. Depends on the time of month, maybe. I don't know what it is. Chewing. I knew that I did not know how to chew when I got married. But now I don't know how to breathe. I don't know how to chew. I don't know how to do anything around the house, with these girls, right? So I have a superpower, and I use it to annoy them quite a bit. When I first started having girls, it was quite an interesting experience because I had a first one, and then the second one was a girl, and then you know how it goes. When you have a first baby, people were really excited about you having. Oh, you guys are having a baby, it's great. Second one, they're like, oh, that's great. Now you got a complete family. You probably could experience that. Third one, they're like, oh, okay. Shailesh and Amy are having another baby. And then by the time the fourth one comes around, they're like, wow, didn't they just have another one? Didn't they just have one a little bit ago? So after 4, it's like, okay. But then after I had my fourth daughter, I thought, okay, this is going to be a great opportunity. I can write the definitive work on understanding women. Because I will have been married to a woman, and then I will have raised 4 women. So in 25 years, I should be the world's foremost authority on women. Right? I mean, do you guys agree? I should be the authority on women, right? But as the years have gone by, I realized, even with my physics degree, that's a complicated project. It's like, wow, women are genuinely very, very complicated. Very, very complicated. And I've also realized it's very expensive to be a woman. Do you guys know that? Wow. I mean, I clean the showers for my girls, and so I go into the shower, I open the shower curtain, and oh my goodness, it's like a lab in there. There's like all kinds of things that I've never seen. I mean, apparently there's a spray for straightening it, there's a shampoo for curling it back, and then there's all kinds of things for your body. There's a different shower, soap for your hand, for your face, for your nose, for everything. Goodness gracious. Yeah. I have that 2-in-1. I have the 2-in-1. I use the same one for my hair. This is going to shock you, ladies. This is going to shock you. I use the same thing for my hair, for my body, for my face, for my hand, for the dishwasher, to cleaning the garage, so lubricating the garage doors. It's the same thing. I use the same one. It really works. It really works. Very cheap too. You can get it at Walmart for like $9.99. And I also use it for 6 months. It's the same thing. So it's very cheap to be a guy. But after being a dad, I want to share some insights with you guys. I have learned the secret to being the world's best dad. And I don't just mean it because Father's Day is in June, and you always get that mug or that tie or that shirt that says world's best dad, right? My girls actually mean it because I have figured out the answer to being the world's best dad. Do you guys want to know the answer? Yeah. It works. Take notes. It works for a 17-year-old. It's worked for a 15-year-old. It worked for a 3-year-old. It worked for a 1-year-old. Okay. So the secret to being the world's best dad is you have to be able to answer this one question: where's mom? That's all you have to know the answer to. Where's mom? Right? Where's mom? That's all you need to know. I will be sitting in the kitchen, making a sandwich, eating a sandwich, and one of the girls will come up and say, where's mom? And I'll say, oh, mom's in the bathroom. And they'll turn around and they'll go towards mom. I said, what do you need? They're like, oh, I'm hungry. You just still go to the mom in the bathroom, and here I am in the kitchen making a sandwich. I'll just eat my sandwich and just sit there and go, okay, well, I guess you'll take care care of it, you know? Because I told them where mom was. They're happy. So I use my Find My Phone app on my wife. I have the tracker. I have Life 360 on my wife. I'm thinking about getting an ankle bracelet at some point, so I know exactly where she is at all times. Because if I can answer that question, right, I'm the world's best dad. So there you have it. You guys have the keys now to how to become the world's best dad. Yeah? So, and then the other thing that I've learned is, this is a marriage conference, so there's some marriage insights that I've had. My wife usually will, at the end of the day, when the garbage is full, takes out the garbage and literally puts it in front of the living room and says, man's job. Kid you not. I have a man's job for you. Brings it over here. I have a man's job for you. And apparently, I'm supposed to jump up, take the garbage and throw it away, right? Because it's a man's job, right? So, a couple months ago, I thought, there's got to be the woman's job equivalent, right? So I went grocery shopping, got the ingredients, put it on front of the counter and said, I got a woman's job. It didn't work. Apparently, there are double standards here to a man's job, because if a drain's clogged, I got a man's job for you. But I can't look at the dishwasher and say, or the sink and say, I got a woman's job for you. Can't say that, so I can't say that. I learned that kind of the hard way, But marriage is all about communication, right? That's what we're learning. Communication, about asking questions. So we've had our fair share of counselors. We've had to go see counselors and things like that. And one thing that I learned from these counselors was they tell you about communication. You've got to communicate. You have to kind of, learn what your styles are and things like that. Yeah. One thing that I learned is you have to ask questions, right? Would you agree? You have to ask questions. And so, ask questions. And then so, a couple months after this marriage counselor thing, we had a fight. We got into a pretty serious fight. And then I remembered, you got to ask questions. So in the heat of the moment, I was like, okay, I'm going to ask a question. I said, why are you so crazy? It didn't work. You have to ask the right questions. These counselors, man, they only give you half the answers. They don't give you the whole answer. And I don't know how much I believe some of these counselors, because before we got married, we went to a counselor, and then they made us take the Myers-Briggs test. Have you guys taken the Myers-Briggs test? And then she told us we shouldn't get married. I'm not joking. She looked at the results and said, you guys should not get married. You guys are too similar. Kid you not. And here we are 22 years later, right? Yeah. So we beat that. So don't take some of these words that they tell you, I'm not trying to say counselors are bad. I'm just saying that they don't have all the answers. That's all I'm trying to say. Yeah. Right? But communication for us in our marriage has been challenging, though, because I come from a South Asian background, which is still, in the broader scheme of things, Asian style of communication is very different than the Western style of communication. Asian style is very indirect, community-focused, are you well kind of communication, whereas the Western style of communication is very direct. I want this, yes or no. Now that, you say it right at your face, right? And then my wife, being from Austria with that Germanic background, very direct, like Arnold, very direct, Do you like the food? Yes, ma'am, I do like the food. That kind of, I cooked for you today. All right, I like it, and I will like it again tomorrow, and I eat it as leftovers, But one day, early on in my marriage, I came home from work, and I haven't been acclimated to this style of communication, And I sat down and I said, are you thirsty for some tea? Because that's how we communicate in Nepal. You say, I'm kind of feeling like I'm thirsty for tea. What about you? It really means, will you make me some tea? Yeah. It doesn't work with an Austrian woman. She just said no. And went on with her business. I just sat there going, I guess I'll have to learn to make my own tea now. So I did. I learned how to make tea. We don't call it chai, by the way. We call it chia. Just so that you guys know. So I always find it funny when they say, chai. Would you like chai tea? It's like, that's like saying TT. Because chai is tea. Would you like TT? Just say, would you like chai or chia, right? And then, although I do pride myself on one thing though, I haven't made the cardinal mistake that one of my friends made. I had a friend, well, he's still a friend. He's from Puerto Rico, and he married a woman from Minnesota. And that's a different culture there, Minnesota. I think this is before YouTube and the internet and everything like that. And she found out from him that he really loved this particular dish. And so while he was at work, she went to the library, this is Minnesota, she had to hunt for these ingredients back then. She went and got the ingredients, came home, made dinner, and then just waited for him. He came, and then he smelled it, he was excited, and he sat down, and he started eating, and then, do you like it? It's like, well, it doesn't taste like Mom's. I'm glad I met that man early in my marriage. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. That if you don't believe in a God, there's one reason to believe in a God. Because my mother cooks like, one of my daughters calls her the ultimate ethnic mom. When she was visiting, they watched her in the kitchen and they're like, wow, this woman is a superwoman. She can go to a restaurant, any type of food, look at it, come home and make it. She's just really good. And then the way she mixes everything, it's like, have you seen an ethnic mom in the kitchen? Has anybody seen? Well, you have to come see my mom someday. Well, you saw her. And it's like, doesn't measure anything. There's no concept of how many cups, no concept of how many teaspoons. She does not know what goes in any sequence. If you ask her, she doesn't know. All I know is that the food is fantastic. Right? And so early on in our marriage, when my mom was visiting, my wife wanted to learn how to cook like my mom, and so she's just chasing around the kitchen. Is that 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons? Or is that 2 teaspoons? How many cups is that? My mom is just going through like, storing it over there. It has 5 dishes on the stove, 1 in the oven, and there's 2 back there. It's like, it's all happening, you know what I mean? And it's like, and then so she wrote some recipes down, and then 2 weeks later she said, okay, I'm gonna make this for you guys. And then so she made one dish. I just thank Mike that I met him early on in my marriage. And then it turns out that my mother forgot to tell her a secret ingredient. That there is usually a secret ingredient. And the reason why she forgot is because it's kind of like driving, when you learn how to drive, it's really hard to explain what you did. Especially like, think about it, you don't think about how you did it, right? For her, cooking is like driving. She doesn't remember what she put in there. All she knows is she put it in there. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is, if she needs to substitute something, she substitutes it. And she knows how to make those substitutes, right? Oh, open the cupboard, look at the spice rack. Oh, this chili's down. I'll use this chili and then modify it with this chili. You know what I mean? It just works. So anyway, so I'm just glad I met Mike early on in my marriage. That's all I can say. But as I've gotten older, though, things have changed a little bit for me. When I was younger, I was considered a very, very good soccer player. I was very good. I was extremely good. Do you guys remember Maradona? Does anybody remember Maradona? Anybody? You guys know? Anybody know who Maradona is? Yeah. Oh, they know. Come on. Well, they don't like Maradona because they're Brazilians. Yeah. Maradona. Before there was Messi, there was Maradona, right? And when I was a kid, Maradona was everything. Yeah. So when I was younger, I played such good soccer that I had people tell me that I was going to be the next Maradona. Right? I was going to be the next Maradona. I was going to be the next Maradona. Right? But then I had this injury in first grade. And I never really lived up to that thing. So here I am doing comedy at a marriage conference. You know what I mean? But I was supposed to be the next Maradona. I was going down, And this kid just went right at me, and I had that injury, and that was the end of that. You know, so. But I'm pretty fit though. You know, I stay fit, except I've already finished my 40s. I'm headed into my 50s now. But you know, in my late 40s, I woke up one day. I kid you not. I just woke up in the morning with a sprained ankle. I'm not joking. I am not joking. Some people have prayed for that ankle. Yeah. So they know I'm not lying to you guys. I went to bed. All I know is I had a pretty active dream. I was tossing back and forth. I woke up with a sore ankle, with a swollen ankle. And I had to go to the doctor. I mean, that's how bad it was, you know? And then, so nowadays, I'm a little bit fearful of that. So when I wake up, this is literally the way I wake up nowadays. I open my eyes, and I'm like, okay, I'm awake. That's what I say to myself. I'm awake. And then I wiggle my toes. Like, okay, all right, I made it this far, right? And then I move my ankles just a little bit. And then I move my knees a little bit, and I'm like, okay, can I make this turn? Can I make this turn? I make the turn. Okay, nothing, no, back's okay, everything's okay. And then I get out of I hang my legs from the edge of my bed for a little bit, and I wait, I pause. I pause just a little bit, you know, because you just never know. After you wake up with a swollen ankle from going to bed and having an active dream, you just gotta take it easy. So I take it easy, and then I get up a little bit, and then I realize, okay, now I can get moving. So, you know, that's kind of my routine these days when I get up. So it's a little different, you know? Yeah. And then, so, you know, like I said, I've kind of aged a little bit. When I was, 20 years ago, I was obviously 20 years younger. Traveling as a brown man was a little different right around 9/11 time frame, right? And so back then, I was in my mid to late 20s. You know, I was like the prime demographic of whatever you want to call it. And so I could see people looking at me, you know, at the airport sometime, and I was like, I don't assume anything, you know, I try to make it humorous, you know, so I thought, I bet you what you're thinking. I think they're thinking, okay, there's this brown guy coming, right? Is he 7-Eleven brown, or is he 9/11 brown? Is this guy 7-Eleven? Did I see him at the 7-Eleven? Or is this guy the 9/11 guy, right? But nowadays it's a little bit different, you know. I got some gray hairs. You guys can't tell. It is the lighting, believe me. It is just the lighting. It makes this part look a little bit gray. Nowadays, though, on planes, I was sitting next to this lady. I was flying, and this lady, we started talking, and she said, "Are you a doctor?" Oh, wow, things have changed, you know. People think I'm a doctor, you know. And then I said, "Man, I'm not a doctor. This is Frontier Airlines. Doctors flying Frontier Airlines? I'm flying Frontier, dude. I'm not a doctor. I run a laundromat. And you want to hear about my laundromat?" She didn't want to hear about my laundromat. And then, so on all the travels, you know, it's been fun traveling places. One of the places where I had a little bit of a rough experience was in Mexico. Love Mexico. I've been to a few places in Mexico. But when we were in Arizona, we drove down to Rocky Point, Mexico. It's about a 3-hour drive from Phoenix. And we drove down there, we got to the resort. My wife is very adventurous. So we checked into the resort, we got everybody settled, and we're like, okay, why eat at the resort when we can go into that small little dinky town that we just saw and explore? So we thought, okay, we'll go. So we went to the little town, no tourists there, it was really weird, you know, it didn't seem like, we stuck out like a sore thumb. Got our food, went to the market, and I quickly realized we gotta get out of here. This is not tourist friendly. So we got in the car and we're heading back. When I'm heading back, there's like a T intersection, you know, so I'm going this way and then there's another road that comes this way. And I just kept going. What I didn't realize is that I had missed a stoplight, or stop sign there, behind the trees. So I just kept going. My luck, the car coming from the other side was a police officer, right? So the police officer comes right alongside me, has the lights on, and is yelling at me going this. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm hyperventilating. I'm like, okay, what did I do? What did I do? This is Mexico. You know, there's this brown guy with a white girl over here speeding through the stop sign. And I said, I don't and I'm just like, no, boss, whatever I was saying. I just kept waving at him. And then I was like, I am not spending the night at some Mexican prison tonight. So I am determined to get out of here. So I just kept going. And fortunately, the road split. So I went this way, and there was like a big median thing there, like a triangular median thing. I just kept going this way, and the cop went this way, and I gunned it. I remember. Went to the resort, rushed back into the room, closed the door, went into my covers. I am not going to go to a prison tonight. Right? So fortunately, that is my closest encounter with law enforcement in any country. You know, and it still gives me shivers thinking about it. So anyway, so that's all I got for tonight. So or this afternoon. Thanks, you guys, and have a good afternoon.